Your job is your skill that they can fire you from at any time. But your work is your gift. No one can take that from you. God never demands anything that He does not provide for. Whatever God commands us to do, He equips us to do. The best thing in life to do is not to regret and try to change what happened, but to interpret it properly, maximize, and use it to serve other people. That's what I want to do with my past. Submission is the willingness to give up our right to ourselves, to freely surrender our insistence on having our own way all the time. The greatest act of leadership is mentoring. No matter how much you may learn, achieve, accumulate, or accomplish, if it all dies with you, then you are a generational failure. Desire is craving enough to sacrifice for. The picture that we have of ourselves, our self-concept, will always determine how we respond to life. Your job is where you get compensation for your activity. Your work is where you get fulfillment because you love it so much. Communication is the ability to ensure that people understand not only what you say, but also what you mean. It is also the ability to listen to and understand others. Developing both of these aspects of communication takes a lot of time, patience, and hard work. The past is the past. Who or what we used to be doesn't matter anymore. What matters is who and what we are now, and who and what we can become in the future. Solid character will reflect itself in consistent behavior, while poor character will seek to hide behind deceptive words and actions. You must decide if you're going to rob the world or bless it with the rich, valuable, potent, untapped resources locked away within you. Being open to correction means making ourselves vulnerable, and many people are not willing to do that. Friendship is not a gift, but is the result of hard work. No matter what type of leader you are or how widespread your influence, you face personal temptations, challenges, and stresses. And only a foundation of character will sustain you in your leadership. We are not to be so concerned about who approves or disapproves of us, but remember that God's approval is what counts. Those whom God approves are approved indeed. Poor people talk about money all the time. Rich people talk about things. Wealthy people talk about ideas. Instead of waiting for someone to give you a job, create your own work. Change is inevitable. Change is also the principle of life. Leaders don't seek followers. Followers are attracted to leaders. A woman may be beautiful, but have poor character. A man may be a business genius, making money left and right, but lack common courtesy, sensitivity, and compassion. Success is not a comparison of what we have done with what others have done. We are a sum total of what we have learned from all who have taught us, both great and small. Don't ever make the mistake of telling God that you have nothing to offer. That simply is not true. God does not create any junk. Don't judge your success by the masses and what they think of you. Judge yourself by what God told you to do. Life outside your ideal environment will destroy your potential because a wrong environment always means death. We should always keep our behavior or performance separate from our sense of self-worth. When we share our sorrow is halved, and when we share our joy is doubled. Proverbs 25 verse 28 says, "Like a city whose walls are broken down is a man who lacks self-control." In other words, if we do not control our own lives from the inside, somebody else will control them from the outside. The greatest tragedy in life is not death, but a life without a purpose. When purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. Seeds of faith are always within us. Sometimes it takes a crisis to nourish and encourage their growth. Healthy relationships should always begin at the spiritual and intellectual levels. The levels of purpose, motivation, interests, dreams, and personality. Your purpose can be fulfilled only during the time you are given on earth to accomplish it. Our life is the sum total of all the decisions we make every day, and those decisions are determined by our priorities. Man is like an onion. His potential is exposed one layer at a time until all he is known by all. Nothing changes until your mind changes. For a woman, language spoken is an expression of what she is feeling. For a man, language spoken is an expression of what he is thinking. A woman says what is on her heart, while a man says what is on his mind. One of the greatest tragedies in life is to watch potential die untapped. The value of life is not in its duration, but in its donation. You are not important because of how long you live. You are important because of how effective you live. You are not remembered for what you compromised for, but what you stood for. If you have hope for the future, you have true riches, no matter how much you have in your account. If you want to succeed, strike out on new paths. Don't travel the worn paths of accepted success. True success is not a project, but a journey. We shouldn't pursue things, we should pursue ideas. Your job is what they trained you to do. Your work is what you were born to do. If you become valuable to the world will pay you to be yourself. The greatness of a man is measured by the way he treats the little man. Compassion for the weak is a sign of greatness. When you believe in your dream and your vision, then it begins to attract its own resources. No one was born to be a failure. Ecclesiastes 3 verses 1 to 2. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven. If you're having a bad time right now, it cannot last. If you cannot find a job right now, that is only a season. If your business is going in the wrong direction, It's a seasonal slide. Never make a permanent decision in a temporary problem. Leaders are pursuing a passion toward a purpose that gives them a sense of destiny. Consult your experience, but never let it rule you. When facing severe challenges, your mind is normally at its sharpest.